Hi there again, and welcome back. And this lecture should be really very quick. I'm just going to give you kind of an overview of tools and resources to make use of in this text unit. Basically, I'd like to help you gain some exposure to the tool benches you can use for text mining, and specifically to get some instruction on downloading and installing LightSide if you're still struggling with that. Now, we're looking at LightSide in the midst of this text mining unit, but there are other tool benches you might use. I'd like to point you specifically to Weka, which is a very widely used, downloadable, open source toolkit for machine learning, and LightSide is actually built on top of Weka. It is very general. I use it in my applied machine learning class every semester, and it's covered in detail in the data mining book by Ian Witten and colleagues that I pointed you to in my first lecture. So I think that's an excellent resource to be aware of. It has a programming API as well as a GUI API. LightSide is built on top of Weka. It adds to Weka a lot of technology for extracting features from text specifically. It also has support for the kind of process that I teach students to use when they're doing text mining, which is a little bit different than the process that's naturally supported by Weka itself. The LightSide tool bench, I just want to point out, was developed in my lab at Carnegie Mellon University. It's freely downloadable and open source. But you may get frustrated working specifically with these GUI interfaces to machine learning workbenches, and so I'd like to just point out that as you move forward, most likely eventually, you're going to want to learn to use some programming environments for doing your work. And two excellent languages to think about learning, if you don't know them already, are Python and R. Both of them are scripting languages. Python has a little bit more general support for software development than R. R has a little bit more support for matrix manipulation and just modeling in general. There are lots of packages available to import into both of them that will enable you to do your work. They're just excellent resources, and I have included some URLs here where you can get some information about how to get started on those. There are also MOOCs that you can take to learn how to program in these languages. So you could use those for modeling as well as for manipulating your data. Data manipulation was the topic of George Siemens' lecture unit at the beginning of this course, and so you've had some experience already with that. In general, what you need in order to do text mining are three kinds of tools. Tools for data manipulation, tools to support the process, and tools for building the models. What LightSide really specializes in is being able to support the process, and especially with text in that it has many plugins specifically for text feature extraction. You can download LightSide from lightsidelabs.com/research. When you go to that URL, you will get to a page very much like what you see. It may have changed slightly by the time you get to it, but you should be able to find the black download button that you see, download LightSide, towards the bottom of the screen. You just click on that and it leads you through the process. In order for getting that downloadable version of LightSide to run on your computer, you have to install the Java Runtime Environment version 7. So if you go to the Oracle website, as I have displayed here, you should be able to install Java with just a couple of clicks. You'll look for the version that's appropriate for your operating system, and again, just with a couple of clicks, you should be able to install it. Don't worry that you don't know how to program in Java if you don't, because you don't need to be able to program in Java to benefit from having the Java Runtime Environment installed on your computer. It just has to be installed in order for you to make use of our download version of LightSide. Now, if you would prefer not to install Java on your computer, we have a version of LightSide that's already self-contained that includes Java kind of bundled with it. It only works in Windows, and it's kind of big and unwieldy because it includes both LightSide and Java, but you can get this from the resources page for this class, and if you download that one and you are working in Windows, you should be able to get it to work even without separately installing Java. But I strongly recommend you go the path of installing the Java runtime environment. Once you have downloaded LightSide, you can unpack it and you're virtually ready to go just by double-clicking on the executable file. If you're in Windows, the folder will look as you see on the screen, and you can simply double-click on the LightSide executable that you see, the first file after the list of folders. If you're in Windows or Linux, it will look slightly different, and if you refer to the user's manual, it will lead you through the process if you are unsure what to do. The user's manual is that LightSide researcher's manual that you see, the PDF, towards the bottom of the screen. So in general, you can see there are tools for text mining that are freely available. You can even do some form of text mining inside a RapidMiner that Ryan Baker talked about in his unit, but LightSide has a much wider variety of features available for extraction, and as you'll see in this unit, that's the part that's really important for text mining and being able to go down the path of doing these theory-driven models of text. I hope you'll start playing with LightSide. Definitely read the user's manual and start to step through the tutorials that are included there, because that will be a really great support for you to supplement what you're getting from the lectures. So thank you very much, and I look forward to our next time of working together.